Hello my fellow aliens, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jojo Rarity, and today is gonna be about movies. I wanna talk about the nostalgic movies that I kinda grew up with as a 90s kid, and I chose these movies on the list is because I watched those movies a couple of times when I was a kid. Probably I was like 10 years old or younger. I chose those movies that I grew up with, or my parents grew up with, and some of the movies I wasn't even born yet, or some of the movies I was just a kid. Like I chose like from the 90s mostly, and then also some 80s movies, and then of course 2000 movies. So I'm pretty excited to do this list. Actually I wanted to do 10 movies, but then I realized there's so many child movies that I like. That's why I chose like 50 movies. Actually there's more than 50 movies, and maybe I'm gonna do a part 2 because I want to add some other movies too. And yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So number 50 on my list is Man in Black. This one came out in 1997, and I like 3 parts. I like the first one the most, and I mean 4 parts. New one with Chris Pratt and Tessa Thompson, and I liked it because of the actors, I think, because they like played in Thor. And so yeah, I forgot about the plot actually, but I think the movie wasn't that bad at all. They're like from other countries. So anyway, the first movie is like with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, and they're working for like an alien government and no one knew about it. It's like the best secret in the world, because if they find out about aliens, they always like erase their memories. So yeah, of course I put this in my list because I'm like an alien lover. So the main characters are called J and K, and they work against like bad aliens because like bad aliens out there. So if this would be in real life, of course I'd be working there. So I gotta work with some cool aliens. Number 14 is a Christmas movie. It's called Home Alone and it came out in 1990. If this is the first video of me you watch, then go check out my top 10 Christmas movies, the link above. And yeah, I want to put this on the list because it's like basically I watch this every Christmas. I know some people who don't watch it on Christmas even, like just watch it on any day, which I find weird. It's because I only watch Christmas movies when there's Christmas. It's kind of like I need the Christmas feeling or something like that. Comment down below if you also like them. Anyway, it's about this kid. It's called Kevin McAllister, and he's like a troublemaker at home, kinda. Actually because of his older brother, and then he got the blame for it, and then his mother got angry, put him in the attic to sleep. So the next day, what I didn't know is they went to the airport, inside the airplane, and they forgot something, and someone important. They forgot to bring Kevin with them on that trip, because they want to go on a trip for the holidays. And yeah, so basically Kevin wakes up alone at home, and he thought he wished his family to go away, and he thought the wish came true. So yeah, it's like funny, and then he's like just a kid, right? But then you go around buying groceries and stuff, feeling like happy at first, finally being alone. But then there are like criminals called the Red Bandits, and then they want to break into their home and steal some stuff because they're like a rich neighborhood. But Kevin is like this cool kid, it's kind of like mature in his age. He plans some traps for them. So yeah, it's the best funny part of this movie. Number 13 is the Neverending Story. This one came out in 1984. It's a pretty old one. And of course I know this movie because of my parents, because I'm kind of so lucky that I grew up with parents who like movie buffs. I kind of became like them. And I also like old movies. Like I kind of like movies even though I wasn't born yet, because movies are timeless. You can watch it anytime. Doesn't matter what time it is from, I think. Sometimes I search like old movies to watch, especially like also like old horror movies I watch, because before I didn't know there was a remake of it. Then I watch it like even from the 1970s. Anyway, back to the movie. It's about this kid named Bastian, and on the way to school he kinda run away from the bullies who were after him, and then he hides into a bookstore, and then he found a book called The Neverending Story. And if you fan of books, this is pretty cool because I love reading. It's because if you read, like you're transformed to another world. Kinda, it's like almost like watching a movie, but it's like in your head. So yeah, I found this book called Neverending Story, and it's about this place called Fantasia, and they are threatened by the darkness called the Nothing. And yeah, it's kind of like magical thing because it's like he's in that place, but he's not. It's kind of like Alice also thinking if it's real or not real. It's like he's reading his book and then he's like seeing the stories happening. So if you read books, you totally understand that. Anyway, on to the next movie.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day.
Don't mind my singing, guys. If you know this song and you know what movie it comes from, it's the movie called Space Jam that came out in 1996. And I heard it's gonna be a part 2, I think, kind of sequel, right? After so many years, but wow, I'm excited for that. Anyway, I'm not much of a fan of basketball, but I watched it because of Bugs Bunny. Of course, as a kid, it was so cool to see like thrown into the real world and then cartoon world, kinda. And that's why I love this movie. It's kind of like Roger Rabbit and like other movies like that. I don't quite remember. He owns like this evil theme alien park, someone called Swaghammer, and he needs a new attraction at Moron Mountain. And then Bugs Bunny kind of goes thrown into the real world. It's been a while since I watched the movie. And then he's like challenging him to a basketball game. And of course he met like the basketball players or something. And you need to watch the movie again. But yeah, it's basically about that. And if you notice my theme here, it's kind of like an alien theme, or like puppeteer theme, and kind of like fantasy theme movies that I grew up with. But yeah, that's me, guys. So the next movie on my list, number 11, is Small Soldiers. That came out in 1998. And it's a different one, and it kind of creeped me out as a kid. It's like so scary, kind of like, it's a bit like Toy Story because toys come to life, but it's different this time because they're like military. They put like batteries into them, and it's not like magical. It's like the people who created them did that for military purposes, and they're not supposed to be sold, I think. But then the one guy did it anyway. It's sent to someone, like the main character, his father is like a toy store owner, and he sent it to him to be released. So yeah, of course then the kids are working there at the store, and suddenly one of the toys got into his backpack, I think. And then he goes home, and suddenly the toys come back to life. And then there are like bad toys out there, so there's like a war going on. And I'm watching as a kid, can you imagine? It's kind of scary when the fight, like at the fighting part. But yeah, it turned out fine. I'm not a psycho. There's some other movies on the list that are pretty creepy as a kid, but those are my childhood movies, if that makes any sense. Number 10 on my list is Labyrinth, and this one is pretty old. It came out 1986, and that's what I mean. It's also kind of creepy to watch it as a kid. But I kind of like these movies. I kind of miss these movies. Like the 80s are kind of crazy movie times, I think. And I kind of find it sad that nowadays, like, kids movies are only for kids, really. They really make sure it's only like for kids and nothing like creepy is going on in the movies, because they're so afraid the kid gonna end up in a mental hospital or something. But I turned out fine. Or did I? So, hello, this is future me. I just noticed some footage was missing when I was talking about the movie Labyrinth. I don't know why it keeps on happening. Every time I copy something and then paste it, it says it's kind of damaged. I can't view this footage. I don't know why. If you know why, please comment down below, because my sister and me kind of knew this camera thing. So I don't know why it keeps on happening. Anyway, so about the movie. It's about a teenager called Sarah, and she's played by Jennifer Connelly. She goes through a maze because she wants to recover her baby brother that was stolen from a Goblin King, and he's played by David Bowie. And I kind of miss this kind of movies, you know what I mean, like with the puppeteer thing. I mean, they don't do movies like that nowadays because it's all like CGI now. But like, if you know Dark Crystal, like something like that, it was so cool to see it again because I've been missing something like that. So I kind of miss this kind of movies back then. The fantasy one was always like, it looks so funny and stuff, but kind of made it more real, if you know what I mean. Number 9 is Bugs Life 1998, and it's kind of funny because I actually hate bugs. But this is my favorite Pixar movie actually. This movie is so underrated, I think, because no one really cares about it that much. But for me, it's a big part of my childhood because I watched it so many times. That's why I want to put this on my list. I didn't put many Disney movies on this list. It's because I don't want to do it separately. It's because it's like so many Disney movies. I grew up with every movie, of course. So yeah, that's why I want to choose this movie, because this movie, like, I really memorize it, especially like the German version. But I also watched the English version a couple of times when I was in the Philippines. I always watch it in repeat, so I know the English voices. So yeah, basically it's about this ant called Flick, who's always so clumsy and messes things up for them. And they always like need to buy food for their bad people. And this part kind of reminds me of The Walking Dead. If you watch like season 7 when Negan comes, Negan is like that, right? They need to provide food for them and they will fight for them against the zombies or something. So it kind of reminds me of that because Hopper, the grasshoppers, they're also like that. They want the ants to buy food for them, so they will kind of protect them. I also remember this when the first time came walking. Wait, is this Bugs Life? Flick destroys accidentally the food stores that they bought for them. So of course I got angry and then gave him one more chance. And wow, they're kind of nice to give them a chance. So anyway, basics about that. They're gonna find some troops to fight for them, but they turn out to be circus people. And yeah, so I really love this movie. It's a part also kind of creepy, I think, especially the end part. But it always been really my childhood top movie. So number 8 on my list, like my dad's favorite movie, I think, is Back to the Future. This one came out in 1985, and there are like 3 parts. And yeah, so when I was younger, my dad, when something was on the TV, always come to me and say, hey, go watch this, like, with me and my sister, of course. And I'm not the person saying, no, I don't want to watch that, Dad. I always say, yeah, sure. I always try to watch what he likes. And I kind of thank him for that, because he made my childhood kind of awesome. I always like watch all the movies that he likes, and that's why I'm kind of like boyish, in my opinion, because of him. Because of him, I like horror movies. Because of him, I like those cool, awesome movies. And because of him, I like video games. So yeah, he didn't treat me like a girl. He didn't want me to watch like Barbie movies, this and that. I do watch Barbie movies, and I play with Barbies also. But I mean, yeah, and I think he also told me that he's like thankful for that I didn't grow up to be like this bitchy. You know what I mean? Like some girls are. And yeah, so I was kind of grateful for that I kind of grew up like this. So back to the movie. So this movie, the main character is called Marty McFly, which is so funny because if you know me, one of my favorite bands are McFly. And before, when I wanted to have like McFly CDs, I told my dad, can you please burn me some McFly CDs? He said, huh? Marty McFly? It's like the same movie. And of course I got this name from that movie. So yeah, I always remember that. And yeah, anyway, so I have a friend called Doc Brown. He's like a scientist. And accidentally something happened that he got thrown into the 50s. So yeah, 50s, it means he kind of met his mother there when she was younger, of course. Weird because his mother liked him. And of course she didn't know it's his son. And of course he knows that it's his mother. So yeah, it was kind of weird. But yeah, it's like such a cool movie. Even my cousin, who's like 17 years old, liked this movie. So yeah, as I said, even like old movies you can still watch even if you're still young. So number 7 on this list is Spirited Away, and it came out in 2001. And it's like the only anime on this list. It's because it's my favorite one from the Studio Ghibli. I like all of the movies, of course, but this one's like I watched so many times, like especially the German version. To be honest, I don't like to watch anime in English. It's because the dubbed German version is much better. Anime in English is, I don't know, maybe because I didn't grow up with it. But of course the new anime I also watch in Japanese with subtitles. So yeah, it's about this girl called Chihiro. She's like 10 years old and she stumbles upon an abandoned amusement park with her parents. And then this part scared me so much when I was a kid, when her parents turned into giant pigs. It's so creepy when you think about it. She watched her parents turn into pigs. They're like eating, suddenly became so, oh my god. It's so crazy to watch it as a child if you think about it. But most Studio Ghibli movies are kind of like weird like that. But this is my favorite one, and no wonder I turned to a freak. Just kidding, I'm just a normal person. So yeah, and like the no face, so cute. The one don't talk. And then that guy, I forgot the name, but he turned into a dragon. Like so many scary parts. Or the witch is also scary with the heads. Have only the heads and any bodies when they're jumping up and down. Oh my god. But yeah, I love this movie so much, and it's always been special in my heart. Number 6 on the list is Land Before Time. It came out in 1988, and the reason I put this on the list is because as a kid growing up, I kind of loved dinosaurs. I was kind of obsessed with them. I was kind of like Ross as a kid. If you get that reference, then yeah. I watch like dinosaurs documentaries. I even have books of dinosaurs. I have a lot of books of that. And also have like all the VHS. I have all the movies, I think, up to 4. I don't know. But I like the first one, of course, the most. And the second one with the purple dinosaur. Yeah, those are my favorite movies of it. And I remember my dad always wanted me to watch it. Every time it comes on TV, he say, your favorite movie's on. So I watch it every single time. So anyway, it's about this dinosaur called Littlefoot. and he's a plant-eating dinosaur. And then one night, his mother died protecting him of a carnivore dinosaur, and this part is so sad. I think as a kid it kind of creeped me out, but as an adult watching it, it was so sad. I really cried losing his mother like that, and it's like all alone. Anyway, before she died, she told him there's a great valley where he could find other dinosaurs like him. So yeah, he's on his way there, and then along the way he found like this group of little friends. And yeah, I like this part, I think, because it's kind of more serious, because the other newer parts, I mean, they're more like of a comedy and musical. So the first part, like the movie I grew up with the most. Oh, now we're on to the top 5, and number 5 is another Christmas classic one. It's called The Gremlins. It came out in 1984. And yeah, wait, I don't know if this movie is for kids. I mean, it's kind of like a horror movie, right? But I watched it as a kid. For me, I never include this like top of my horror movies. I include this movie as my childhood movie. Does that make me crazy? I guess, yeah. So anyway, I was so obsessed with the Mogwais. Man, Gizmo was like the cutest of it all. It was before Krugu, it was before Groot existed, it was before Stitch existed. And yeah, so anyway, it's about this guy who wants to get a gift for his son. He's like a salesman, and then he goes to a store in Chinatown and he found Mogwai there. And the shopkeeper didn't want to sell it to him because he said it's dangerous. But then at some point he does. I don't quite remember if he does or someone else does. Anyway, at the end he got it. And there's like 3 rules that you need to follow. The first rule is, do not let them into the light. The second rule is, do not feed them after midnight. And the third rule is, do not make them wet. And of course, all those rules are broken, because then there will be a movie about it. So yeah, this was like some fun Christmas cheer. It was kind of scary because it turned the Christmas into a nightmare. Number 4 on my list is the movie called Hook, and this one came out in 1991. And RP to Robin Williams, my man. I always like grew up with all of his movies when I was a kid. So sad, I really cried when I heard that he died. I mean, this guy had depression. He's like one of the funniest men out there. So I guess you never know who got depression or not. Even the funniest people are like the saddest one. If that makes any sense. Anyway, comment down below if he's your childhood movie actor, because I watched so many movies of him when I was younger, like Flubber. And yeah, there's another Robin Williams movie in this list, but I won't spoil it yet. So this one is like a new take on Peter Pan. It's like because he grew up in this one, he's like older now and he got like kids. And then his children got kidnapped by his nemesis, of course, Captain Hook. And then he's like forced to go back to Neverland. Because he left Neverland because he wanted to raise a family. It's kind of different because, of course, in the real story, Peter Pan never wants to grow up. But at this movie, he wanted to grow up and his friends didn't want to grow up. So yeah, it's like kind of like what if Peter Pan grew up. Actually, I'm really not a fan of the Disney movie. I only like the new takes. Like there was like a movie called Neverland, it's like a TV movie with 3 parts. This one I liked. And then I don't even like the other Peter Pan movie, Jeremy something. I don't know, I'm really not much of a fan of Peter Pan. But it's like the favorite Peter Pan based movie that I liked. And of course, in Once More Time, season 3, Peter Pan, who plays a villain. Oh, number 3 on my list is pretty much the oldest one, and it's Star Wars. I like the first one, I mean, The New Hope, it came out in 1977. Can you imagine? For me, it doesn't feel that old. So old. Anyway, like I'm kind of lucky and happy that I grew up with the original ones. Because like the prequel, it came out like in my kind of year, but I always like the original ones. So like because the original ones are like my dad's favorite movies, so I always try to watch it. But as a kid, sometimes, to be honest, I fell asleep because not because it's boring, because it's so long. As a kid, I always fall asleep so fast when the movie's like 2 hours or longer. But my sister always like finished watching it because she was always into it. So then when the 2015 movie came out, I was like, what? Star Wars? I kind of forget about it. Called The Force Awakens. I was like forgetting about Star Wars because it was so long time ago. But then I was so excited still. I wanted to watch cinema, and it was so cool because I can finally watch a Star Wars movie in the cinemas, because of course I was young with the other movies. So if you don't know this movie, because I know the people who don't know this movie, it's about Luke Skywalker, Leia Organa and Han Solo, who's the captain of the Millennium Falcon. And there's like always a war going on. It's because it's called Star Wars, and they're gonna fight against the Galactic Empire. And because they're kind of like rebellious, they are called, because they don't believe in the rules of Darth Vader, who's like the main villain in this one. So I think if you're new to this, I think you should watch the first movie first, like New Hope, because if you watch the prequels first, then it's kind of not fun anymore, or else you will get spoiled because there's no more twist. So I think you should watch like on the order the movies came out if you're new to this. But of course, if you already watched everything, you should watch in the chronological order, so it makes more sense that way. So 2 more movies on the list, and number 2 is Jumanji, and this one came out in 1995. So yeah, there is a Jumanji before the new one. It's so weird to think that people don't know the Jumanji one that came out first, because people watch the new one first. And like my cousin, who's like 25 years old, he never watched Jumanji in his life. It's like, what? It's not even that young. And kind of sad thing also, because this is like my childhood movie, and it's still the best one of all, and Robin Williams is in this movie. So yeah, I kind of grew up with this one. And so it's about the magical board game, because before in this time people play board games and no video games. So the new Jumanji is like so new generation, because it's about video games. Anyway, it's about these 2 kids who are like siblings, and they come across a board game, and what they know is when they start playing it, and some crazy things happening. They go on an adventure, but it's not a fun one, it's a scary one. It's kind of scary also when I grow up, because it's like this: they play a game, and basically it's their turn when the card comes out, and then things happen to them. And as a kid, comment down below if you also wanted kind of this board game, but with the fun part, not the scary part, because it seems like so fun. I like the idea, it's kind of so different, and so kind of miss the old Jumanji and the real Jumanji in my heart. Anyway, if you don't know this movie, please go check it out before you watch the new ones, because it's pretty good. Number 1 in this list is Jurassic Park. It came out in 1993, where I was born. So I know when I watched this the first time, because I was like just born that time. So yeah, as I said, I love dinosaur movies growing up. So yeah, it's kind of a childhood movie, even though it's scary. And yeah, also like the new Jurassic World. I also like, it's like a sequel, and that's what I like. They didn't do a remake of it. And I also like it maybe because it's Chris Pratt, and there's also gonna be like the last movie to come out, and Sam Neill gonna return, which is pretty awesome. He's like the main character in the first Jurassic Park ever. So yeah, I really love this movie. It's from Steven Spielberg. And if you don't know this movie, who the hell are you? I mean, I understand if you don't like Star Wars, because it's not everyone's thing, but Jurassic Park, come on! It's like you can't watch Jurassic World without knowing the real Jurassic Park out there. Like 3 movies before, and number 1 is like so classic. Anyway, it's about Alan Grant and Ellie, who are paleontologists. It's Ross Gellerstrop from France. Anyway, and then also Ian Malcolm, played by no other than Jeff Goldblum. They are selected to go to this island theme park, populated by dinosaurs. It's not open yet, they're like the first ones to kind of get a look at it. And yeah, of course, things spiral out of control. A dinosaur got free, something like that. So yeah, if you're a dinosaur fan, go check it out. And if you haven't, what are you doing? Go now, go away and go watch this movie anywhere. I don't know where you can find it. I think on Netflix, right? Because I watched like 1, 2, 3 one time with my mom. So I know all the movies are out there. Just gotta click on it. This was it. Hope you enjoyed this kind of content. I want to do more movie and TV shows content, as I mentioned. And maybe I'm gonna do a part 2, because I have so many other movies that I want to talk to about. And maybe because of me, you can kind of check out new movies, because why not, right? If you enjoyed this kind of content, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what are your nostalgic movies, And also don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to click on the bell notifications so you know exactly when I upload. I upload every Wednesdays and Saturdays. And see you guys on my next video. Bye!